Hello everyone, this is Judith Sadol and I'm going to give you a report about the 16 personality factor or the so-called the paper and pencil test, the 16PF. Okay. Let's begin with the identification of the personality according to Cattell. The personality of an individual is that which enables us to predict what he will do in a given situation. Okay, personality refers to factors inside people that explain their behavior. It is also the sum total of typical ways of acting, thinking, and feeling that makes a person unique. Three facts to consider when defining personality. First, individuals are unique. Second, individuals behave differently in the different situations. Last, although individuals are unique and behave inconsistently across situations, there is considerable commonality in human behavior. Okay, personality as a construct may include emotional responses, social behavior, emotional thoughts and behavior, motivation, values, and interest. There are methods of measuring personality. First is the paper and pencil test, the questionnaires and inventories. Second, situational exercises and field or natural observation and projective measures. Okay. An introduction to 16PF questionnaire. First, the 16PF questionnaire is a self-report assessment instrument that measures the 16 normal adult personality dimensions that make up our personality. It is represented by Dr. Raymond Cattell's endeavors to identify the primary components of personality by factor analyzing all English language adjectives describing human behavior. The authors of 16PF are Raymond B. Cattell, A. Karen S. Cattell, and Heather E. P. Cattell. The publication date was on 1993 5th edition. Publishers, Institute for Personality and Ability Testing Incorporated or IPAT. Okay, we'll give you the history and overview of the 16PF. 1949, the Institute for Personality and Ability Testing or IPAT is founded by Raymond Cattell and his wife A. Karen Cattell, who served as director and chairperson of IPAT until 1992. The 16PF Questionnaire 16th edition is released. It was a revolutionary concept measuring the whole of human personality, using structure discovered through factor analysis. Okay, what is factor analysis? Factor analysis is this method uses mainly separate correlation to determine which variables change together and thus may have some underlying dimension in common. Application of 16PF. First is for selection, management development, placement consulting, team building and development, career counseling, individual and couples counseling, and research in clinical settings. Okay, age range of 16PF. Between 16 years old and older. The forms, one form, 185 items. Administration time and time. Average test completion is 35 to 50 minutes. Okay, the administration. This is designed to be administered to adults individually or in a group setting. Self-administratable, the test administrator is advised to take time to establish a comfortable rapport with examinees. The test is on time, but examinees should be encouraged to work on a steady pace. Remember, don't spend too much time thinking over at one question. Give the first natural answer as it comes to you. The administrator may either read aloud the instruction or request examinee to read the instruction silently responding to their question as necessary. Okay. 16 personality factor that may measure the warmth, reasoning, emotional stability, dominance, like liveliness, rule consciousness, social boldness, sensitivity. The right side, vigilance, abstractedness, privateness, apprehension, openness to change, self-reliance, perfectionism, and tension. Okay, the profile interpretations. Okay, here are the scales, the 16PF primary factor scales. Okay, the primary scales are warmth, reasoning, emotional stability, determined liveliness, role consciousness, social boldness, sensitivity, vigilance, abstractedness, privateness, apprehension, openness to change, self-reliance, perfectionism, and tension. Okay, five global factor scales are extroversion, anxiety, tough-mindedness, independence, and self-control. Okay. Here are the 16 PF scale names and descriptions. Okay, we have the descriptors of low range primary scales, and then the descriptors of high range. Okay. First, the descriptors of low range are reserve, impersonal, distant. In low the primary scales are warmth. In high range, that is warm, participating, and attentive to others. Low range, concrete, lower mental capacity. Primary scales is reasoning. The high range is abstract, bright, and fast learner. Low range, reactive, affected by feelings. The primary skills is emotional stability, while the high range for this is emotional stable, adaptive, mature. Low range, differential, cooperative, avoid conflicts. Primary skills is dominance. The highest range is dominant, forceful, and assertive. Okay. Low range, expedient, non-conforming. Primary skills is role consciousness. High range is role conscious and dutiful. Low range, shy, timid, treat sensitive. Primary skill for this is social boldness. High range is socially bold, venturesome, thick-skinned. Last is from low range is tough, objective, and unsentimental. Primary skill for this is sensitivity. High range, sensitive, aesthetic, and tender-minded. Okay, next. Trusting, and suspecting, accepting. Primary scales is vigilance. High range is vigilant, suspicious, and skeptical, wary. Low range, practical, grounded, down to earth. Primary scale, abstractedness. Low range, abstracted, imaginative, idea oriented. Low range, for try, genuine, artless, primary scales for this is privateness. High range, private, discreet, and non-disclosing. Low range, self-assured, unworried, and complacent. The primary skill for this is the apprehension. High range, apprehensive, self-doubting, and worried. Low range, traditional, attached to familiar. Openness to change. High range, open to change and experimenting. Low range, group-oriented, affiliative, self-reliance. High range, self-reliant, solitary, and individualistic. Low range, tolerates disorder and exacting, flexible. perfectionism. High range, perfectionistic, organized, and self-discipline. Low range, relaxed, placid, patient, tension. High range, tense, high energy, and driven. Next. Here are the 16 primary factors. Warmth. Low A, we have the low A and high A. The low A, from left side, we have the reserve, impersonal, distant, and formal. People who are reserved, impersonal, distant, and formal, they are tend to be reserved and cautious about involvement, and attachment. They tend to be solitude, often focusing attention on intellectual, mechanical, or artistic pursuit. Okay. High A, they are warm, caring, soft-hearted, and generous. They tend to have an intrinsic interest in people, as they often seek situations that call for closeness with other people. Okay, next, reasoning. Low B, low in reasoning, they are less able to solve verbal and numerical problems of an academic nature. This can indicate lower intellectual ability, but it is also related to educational level. High in reasoning, they are more able to solve verbal and numerical problems of an academic nature. This is often indicated of intellectual ability. Next primary factor is emotional stability. Low in emotional stability, they are reactive, essentially easily upset, and temperamental. They tend to feel a lack of control over life's challenges and to react to life rather than making adapted or proactive choices. High in emotional stability, they are stable, calm, mature, and unruffled. They tend to take life in stride as to cope with day-to-day life as it is challenges in a calm, balanced, adaptive way. They tolerate frustration well, can delay gratification, and don't let emotions obscure realities. Okay, next. Primary factors is dominance. Low in dominance, they are differential, modest, and submissive. They tend to accommodate others' wishes and are cooperative and agreeable. They are likely to avoid conflict by acquiescing to the wishes of others, and they are willing to set aside their own wishes and feelings. Okay, high in dominance, they are assertive, forceful, and competitive. They tend to be vocal in expressing their opinions and wishes. While dominance can create a demanding, take-charge social presence at times, they can be overbearing, stubborn, or argumentative. Okay. Next, primary factors is liveliness. Low in liveliness, they are serious, quiet, reflective, cautious. This may not be the life of the party of the most entertaining person in a group. Their quiet attentiveness can make them reliable and mature. High in liveliness, they are carefree, enthusiastic, spontaneous, and energetic. They are high-spirited and stimulating and drawn to lively social solution. Extreme scores may reflect impulsive or unreliable quality. Okay, next. Primary factors is role consciousness. Low in role consciousness, they are expedient, non-conforming. They may not worry about conversions, obligations, or following rules and regulation. This may be because they lack an internalized standard or simply because they follow unconditional values. High in role consciousness, they are role conscious, dutiful, and scrupulous. They tend to be proper and conscientious and conform to conventional cultural standards. At extreme, they can be perceived as inflexible, moralistic, and righteous. Okay, next, social boldness. High in social boldness, they are shy, socially timid, trait sensitive, and easily embarrassed. While high in social boldness, they are socially bold, outgoing, gregarious, and adventuresome. Okay. Shy and socially intimate, they tend to speaking in front of groups to be difficult and may feel intimidated when facing stressful solution of an interpersonal nature. While high in social boldness, they tend to be boldly intimate social contacts, be fearless in the face of a new or intimidating in social setting, or to be risk takers seeking adventures. Okay. Next is sensitivity. Low in sensitivity, they are tough, realistic, logical, and sentimental. While high in sensitivity, they are emotional, sensitive, intuitive, cultured, and sentimental. Low in sensitivity, they focus more on how things work than an aesthetics or refined sensibilities, and they may be so concerned with utility and objectivity that may exclude emotions from consideration. Why high in sensitivity? People who are high in sensitivity are high scorers, are attuned to sensitive feelings, and thus are empathetic, sympathetic, and tender-minded. Okay, next primary factor is vigilance. Low in vigilance, they are trusting and suspecting, forgiving, and accepting. While high in vigilance, they are vigilant, suspicious, distrustful, and wary. Okay. Next factor is abstractedness. Low in abstractedness, they are grounded, practical, and concrete. They tend to be focused on practical, observable realities of their environment, and may be better at working on a specific solution than imagining possible solution. Why? While high in abstractedness, they are abstracted, imaginative, idea-oriented, and then contemplative. They are more oriented to abstract ideas than external facts and practicalities, being focused on thinking, imagination, and fantasy. Next, factors. Privateness. Okay. Low in privateness, they are forthright, self-revealing, and transparent. They tend to be open, artless, and transparent. They are willing to talk about themselves readily, even about fairly personal matters. While high in privateness, they are private, discreet, and non-disclosing. They tend to be guarded and reluctant to disclose personal information and play their hand close to their chest. Okay. Next factors is apprehension. Low in apprehension, they are self-assured, unworried, complacent. They tend to be self-confident and untroubled by self-doubt, while this may make them resilient in stressful situations. While high in apprehension, they are apprehensive, self-doubting, and guilt-prone. They tend to be worried about things and to feel anxious and insecure. This feeling may be a response to current life events, or they may be characteristic. Okay, next, primary factors is openness to change. Low in openness to change, they are traditional, attached to familiar, resistant to change. They tend to stick to traditional ways of doing things. They they prepare what's predictable and routine, and so they don't tend to challenge the situation ko. Okay, while high and openness to change, they are open to change, experimenting, and free thinking. They tend to be open-minded and innovative and seek ways to improve the status quo. Okay. They enjoy experimenting and tend to think critically or questions authority. Next factor, self-reliance. Low in self-reliance, they are group-oriented, affiliative. They tend to prefer being around other people and enjoy social groups and working in teams. While high in self-reliance, they are self-reliant, solitary, and individualistic. They enjoy spending time alone and prefer to rely on their own thinking and judgment. Okay, next is perfectionism. Low in perfectionism, they are tolerates disorder and unexacting, casual, and lax. They tend to be comfortable leaving things to change, tending to be spontaneous rather than planful, organized, and structured. While high in perfectionism, they are perfectionistic, self-disciplined, and goal-oriented. They tend to be organized, they plan ahead, persevere, and work conscientiously. They are most effective in organized and structured situations and may find it hard to deal with unpredictability. Okay, next factors is tension. Low in tension, they are relaxed, placid, and tranquil and patient. They are laid back, easygoing, and composed. They are not easily upset and aroused, and frustrations rarely bother them. Okay, high in tension, they are tense, driven, high energy, and impatient. Lead to tend to have a lot of drive, to be high strung, and to be fragile when made to wait. Okay. Okay, the descriptors of the global factors, the descriptors of low range, the global scales, and the descriptors of high range. Okay. Introverted socially inhibited, they are extraversion. High range, they are extrovert, socially, and participating. Low anxiety, um, imperturbable anxiety, high anxiety, and perturbable. Low range, receptive, open-minded, and intuitive. Global scales is tough-mindedness. High range is tough-minded, resolute, and unempathic. Low range, accommodating, agreeable, and selfless. Global scales, independence. High range is independent and persuasive. Low range is unstrained, follows urge. Global scale is self-control, while in high range, they are self-controlled and inhibits urge. Okay, next. And extroversion. Introversion versus extroversion. An introvert person, they tend to value time, spent alone or in a solitary pursuit, being generally less inclined to seek out interaction with others. While extrovert person, they tend to be people-oriented, to seek instruction with others, and to be value time spent with others in social pursuit. Okay, the extrovert can have one or more time of these qualities: warmth and wish to feel close connections with people. Okay, next, anxiety. Low in anxiety, The low scorers for this are tend to be imperturbed by most events and less easily upset than most people. They can be emotionally stable, facing life's challenges with calm and stability, trusting in others, unworried and self-assured. While high in anxiety, they are tend to be more easily upset by events. They may be more perturbed both of the internal thoughts and feelings as well as by external events. Okay. Tough-mindedness. Okay. Receptivity. Low scorers for these are tend to be open to feeling, imagination, people, and new ideas. Their approach may focus on emotional, aesthetics, and sensibilities. While high scorers for tough-mindedness, they tend to prefer logical, realistic solution. They may be focused on objectivity and opposed to sensitivity, practical, concrete things rather than abstract ideas or theories. Okay, next, independence. Low scorers are the accommodations. Low scorer tends to be uh, agreeable and accommodating to other people and external influences than being self-determining. High scorers are the independents. They are tend to take charge of situations and to be influenced other rather than be influenced. Okay, next. Self-control. Low scorers are lack of restraint. Um, Low scorer are um, unrestrained and tend to have fewer resources to controlling their behavior, while high score are the self-controlled. They are conscientiously and have substantial resources for controlling their behavior and meeting these responsibilities. Okay. Here are the global factors and their contributing primary scales. That was as I said a while ago. Okay. Let's move on. Okay. Note. The primary scales can contribute to global scales in either a positive or a negative direction. For example, liveliness contributors positive to extraversion. High scores for F contributes to high score on extraversion, but negatively to self-control. High scores on lower the individual self-controls. Okay. The authors for this are the Raymond Cattell, Karen Cattell, and Heather Cattell. Okay, next. Okay. Ito po yung example ng 16PF test na nakita ko sa online. And I made myself test. Okay. And then, narito ang resulta ng aking 16PF or 16 personality. Sinasabi dyan, okay, warmth. Okay, medyo mataas ang aking warmth, reasoning, emotional stability, ano pa, self-consciousness, self-boldness, sensitivity, and openness to change, and perfectionism. Okay. Nasa mababa ang aking nakuhang score sa abstractedness, tension, hindi ako masyad basta nagtitense. No? And then, vigilance. Hindi yan. Apprehension. Ganon din. Okay, yan ang resulta ng aking 16 PF. Okay, that's all. Thank you.